Welcome back to the show. Well, remember this. Confronting accusations of Hawthorn Football Club's First Nations players facing systemic racial abuse, including allegations of players and partners being made to live separately and families encouraged to have abortions. Allegations which rocked the AFL and, to a certain extent, the country to its core. Those accused continually denying any wrongdoing.
I know I'm not guilty of racism nor cultural insensitivity, so that's where I stand on it.
Coaches were suspended, waiting for an inquiry that never really got off the ground. And then rewind to 2 weeks ago. North Melbourne coach Alistair Clarkson resigns from stress. Last night, the AFL finally delivered its verdict. Well, kind of.
No adverse findings have been made in the independent investigation against any of the individuals against whom allegations have been made. The complainants wish to resolve all differences with the AFL.
So, 8 months. No one is getting charged with anything, no fines, no one has been paid out, and everyone, including the victims, are happy. However, those victims are so happy they can now take the case to civil action or the Human Rights Commission. I honestly, this morning, cannot make any sense of it. I know exactly who can, though. Senator Matt Canavan and stellar editor Sarah Lamarck. One morning, guys. How are you?
Try.
It's bizarre. Mate. It was so serious at the time, Matty, and this morning, nothing's happened. It's just a debacle.
I think in rugby league, that's what we call a hospital pass you've just given me there. But look, I'm in your camp. Sorry, I'm none the wiser. I can't make heads or tail of it. So as you just played there, no adverse findings, but there's still potentially action being taken. It's as clear as mud what happened here or what went on. Very, very serious allegations have been made. And can I say, it's not the first time you've heard these kinds of stories in professional sports about people being encouraged to have abortions and what have you. And, you know, there needs to be a stronger message, I think, to make sure that player welfare and their family welfare has to come first ahead of results on the field.
And Sarah, from a media perspective, the allegations being aired, and then 8 months later, literally nothing's happened. No one's being held to account. Literally those people who had their names sullied, dragged through them. And look, there may be some validity to it, but it hasn't been proven.
Well,
so where does it leave them?
Well, there's absolutely no winners out of this, is there? Because, as you say, we've had these really troubling allegations aired, and yet this sort of muddled legal jargon that came out yesterday. For what end? Absolutely nothing has been gained from this.
Yeah.
And we do know that there is systemic racism in sport.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame as well, because I think the sporting codes, including the AFL, are so determined to take a really strong leadership role in racial harmony in this country. They've been very active in the voice to Parliament, for instance, and all of this is completely undermining and muddling the message.
It completely does. Well said. Let's move on. Fresh warnings about the state of the economy this morning. Interest rates squeezing mortgage owners. The housing crisis putting further pressure on inflation, with welfare payments going up. You happy with all that, Matty?
It's not good times. It's not good times at the moment. We still have very high and persistent inflation. That's not under control yet. Interest rates still potentially going up, and now we've got warnings from the Treasury Secretary, from major business leaders that the economy is slowing and we could be headed for recession. The key risk here, Karl, is now what is the government doing to avoid stagflation? And that's the combination of high inflation and a recession. That would be worse for everybody. So the government's budget obviously has done nothing to help get inflation under control. And it's all up to the Reserve Bank now, which is punishing Australian homeowners to the hilt.
Sarah, honeymoon is definitely over.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, that honeymoon feels like a very long time ago. I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but I just feel like we've been in the grip of a cost of living crisis for so long, and there just seems to be no signs of things loosening up. I mean, all the news is bad news. I mean, I wish I could put a positive spin on it, but we're really feeling it. All consumers and households are feeling it.
They're feeling it even more in Queensland this morning. The Callide Power Station won't be up and running until, what, May next year, Matty? I mean, this all is your wheelhouse. It's something you've been warning about, and here we are.
Yeah, mate, look, we haven't done enough to provide spare backup capacity in our electricity system. This power station, one of its units blew up a few years ago. Another unit had some issues. And like most major projects, it's a major endeavour, replacing a generator turbine. Its timelines have continually blown out. Let's hope and pray it does come back online by mid-next year. We're already seeing risks in the New South Wales power system on the back of the closure of the Liddell coal-fired power station. But we need to build new power stations. We haven't built one for over a decade.
That's not going to happen.
And solar and wind just isn't going to cut it. Well, I think eventually will happen. It's just how many lessons do we have to go through the School of Hard Knocks before we wake up?
I have a feeling he might be right. I have a feeling. Anyway, let's see what happens over the next 5 to 10 years if you're still doing the show with us. we have a new free trade agreement.
You too, Karl. You too.
No, I'm happy to do this for the rest of my life. I love it.
Great.
Anyway, we have a new free trade agreement with the UK. Some British products will become cheaper. Exciting news. I just wonder, what does Britain actually have to offer us? I mean, there's beautiful MGs. If you can imagine the top-down Matty riding. Here we are. This is you riding to the Callide Power Station earlier this morning with the top down. Your hair blowing freely in the wind. Oh, hang on. The MG's owned by a Chinese company.
Yeah, that's right. That's
so
true.
what else do they have? There's black pudding, Cumberland sausages. That's about it, isn't it?
Carlos, there's a Spice Girls CDs, a nice cup of English breakfast tea. Don't be so hard on the Brits.
All right, name one good export from the UK, Matty.
It's hard, isn't it? I suppose. The peas pies. I don't know. Yeah, it's very hard. But this is about what we sell to them, Karl. It's a good thing for us. Good thing for us because we get to sell more beef, and that's great for everybody in Australia.
All right, one-word answers. The State of Origin tonight, Sarah.
I'm taking my boys to the Spider-Man movie at the same time. I'm sorry.
Beautiful. And you, Matty?
Queenslander.
Okay, there you go. I love it. Thank you, guys. Sarah.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God. Karl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Karl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?